North Carolina's 2025 football season is getting ready to kick off right here in just over a month. And even though our schedule isn't the most daunting thing in the world, with being under first-year head coach Bill Belichick, North Carolina has a lot of expectations to win and to win early by not only us as fans, but also the national media as well. And with our schedule, there's not a ton of very tough teams. It's a fairly easy schedule, like I mentioned, but there is a couple of games in there that could end up being defining for us as North Carolina fans and also for the football team as well. So I want to identify today what is the one single game in North Carolina's schedule that will define the entire season for North Carolina. Now, I sent this question out to you guys the other day over on TikTok and also YouTube Shorts, and I got some answers, and I really liked it. And everybody kind of hit on where in the area of which I thought they would, which is where I'm at. And quite frankly, this wasn't the most cut and dry answer for me, honestly. I had to really think about this thing because, in my opinion, there are three specific games that could very well end up being defining, but I had to figure out the top one. And I'll tell you the two, and then the third one is going to be the one that I'm going to pick. And the first one being the TCU game. That's the opening game. That is the first game of the season, big time game in Labor Day, Monday night, 8 p.m. You're the only game on. Everybody's watching you. You're in your building. What are you going to do with this first game, the momentum of the world on you in this season? So I thought that could easily be one as well. Also, another one could be the NC State game. And I know NC State fans are going to love that I am sitting here saying this. But considering you haven't beat them in 4 years, they've been a plague to your program over the last 4 seasons. Are you going to finally right that ship and move forward? That was another one. But this last one right here is the one that I just think that it's just gonna take the cake on it. And honestly, not by much. But it's a big game, and I'm excited for it. And also, if you're brand new to the Hill Brothers, be sure and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hang out with us, man, as we go through this college football season. Which game do you think it is? And I'm going to tell you in 3, 2, 1. It's that Clemson game. And I'll tell you why. North Carolina Clemson have faced, since Mac Brown returned, North Carolina Clemson faced three different times in the 5 seasons that he was with us since 2019. That was the second year back with Sam Howell quarterback, the one that you took the reigning defending national champion Clemson Tigers all the way down the stretch, 1-point game. And you ran I think it was an RPO that you could have, handed off to Javonte, and Javonte would have walked in now that we're seeing this. But quarterback Sam Howell pulled it, ran, and didn't get the touchdown. So, which is highly unfortunate. It hurt so bad saying that, because boy, it felt like if North Carolina could have got that win, maybe the trajectory would have changed and the way they were looked at would have been changed. But also, again, they faced a couple of seasons ago under first-year quarterback Drake May in the ACC championship game. That was a game that I was at. DJ Oyunlele was my favorite quarterback of that game for the little bit of time that we saw him. And when we were in attendance for that game as well, when Kay Klubnik hopped on that field and they put him up on the Jumbotron, and during the timeout, the TV timeout, I looked at Alan looked at me. I said, uh-oh. And sure enough, you got blitzed. It was North Carolina's, a horrible defensive team for North Carolina. Had some moments. It was, they knew how to keep games close, but how to lose them. Unfortunately, that was the team that was 9-1, ended up 9-5 after everything was all said and done. Losses to Notre Dame early in the season, which Notre Dame was a powerhouse of that team as well. But also Georgia Tech, NC State, Clemson, and then eventually Oregon as well, which Oregon was a team that you had beat and you let them down the field anyway. But that's neither here nor there. And the last one being not this past season, but Drake May's last season up in Death Valley against the Clemson Tigers, where you had them beat in the first half if we didn't, Amari Hampton didn't fumble twice. And I hated that for him. Good God, I hated that for him. Carolina would have been up 21-0 in that game. They were right there in the red zone, walking it in, and Omarion had the ball punched out twice. One by Nate Wiggins, the corner for North Carolina or for Clemson, where he chased Omarion down, and at like the 3-yard line, punches the ball out. The ball rolls out of his hand into the end zone and out of bounds in the end zone, which obviously switches and turns the ball over to Clemson's side. And it was not a good game after that. But Clemson has been North Carolina's Achilles heel. Obviously, we know that Clemson is the class of the ACC. They are the cream of the crop. They are always in the top 25. They've only had one quote unquote off year, and that was a couple of seasons ago. But outside of that, Clemson is always the class of the ACC. They are they run the ACC. Really, the ACC runs through them. They've won like 9 or 10 out of the last however many ACC championship games. They are the class of the ACC, and they went out and they won the ACC championship game this past season against SMU, a really good SMU squad as well. And here they are coming back once again this year, and they look primed and ready to make a big run. A lot of players have come back. They've actually hit the transfer portal. Dabo is not playing around, and Clemson looks like they're really good this year. They're really, really good. And this falls to North Carolina. Carolina gets Clemson this year back at home, back where almost 5 years ago under Mac Brown, you got him for the first time under his tenure, where you almost beat him, the number 1 ranked team in the country, against a patchwork North Carolina football team that was very scrappy that year and ended up having a really good year, but unfortunately didn't get the job done. And now you have Bill Belichick. You have a lot of prospects that have come to North Carolina. There's been a lot of roster turnover. We don't know what the team looks like just yet, but from the people and the players that we've seen on paper, this looks like a pretty daggum good North Carolina squad, and better than that Clemson team, better than that North Carolina team that faced Clemson in that first year back under Mac Brown. So my thing is this. The reason I think it's the most defining is because if North Carolina can finally jump that hurdle, if they can finally beat that team, that Clemson team, the confidence that would, and this is your first ACC game. This is your first game in the ACC this year, is Clemson at home. After you get out of the non-con, you got a bye week, then you get Clemson, then you get another bye week. So your primary focus for 3 straight weeks is going to be nothing, or 2 weeks, and then you get the week off, is going to be nothing but the Clemson Tigers. And Clemson knows what this game is going to be all about. And quite frankly, they should handle business against North Carolina. North Carolina's not going to be favored in that game whatsoever. Clemson definitely will be. Dabo going up against Belichick for the first time. By the way, it was a really good interview between the two of those guys with Reese Davis. That was a great interview. I love listening to that thing. But if Carolina can get through the non-conference, and let's say they're undefeated in the non-conference, which I think that they should be, personally, undefeated in the non-con, the 4-0, TCU, Charlotte, Richmond, and UCF. UCF being probably your toughest game. If Carolina comes out and starts the season 5-0 with a win over Clemson, doesn't matter how you get it done. Doesn't matter one bit of how you get it done. Then, boy, the trajectory for your team completely changes. That is when the conversation gets really real about Belichick being able to potentially get this team to the ACC championship game. Because outside of Syracuse, and on the road at Syracuse, which is going to be tough, and then obviously your rivalry games, Carolina from there, ACC-wise, again, doesn't have a very daunting schedule, to say the least. At Cal, so there's that. Stanford, Virginia, we don't know what Virginia's going to be. There's possibility they could be good. We don't really know. You don't have Georgia Tech. You don't have Miami. You don't have Florida State. You don't have any of those teams. You don't have SMU. You don't have any of those teams. Carolina could be sitting in a very, very good spot if they get this win. On the other hand, if they get destroyed, which I'm sure is what the point. I figured the point spread for this game is probably going to be somewhere, depending on how Carolina does in the first 4 games, of course. But considering where I think that they'll end up being, it'll probably end up being right at a double-digit spread, I do believe, for Clemson. Probably a 10-14 2-touchdown deal. We'll see. But if Carolina gets destroyed by Clemson, then it's like, oh yeah, okay, we're still far off. Who knows? You know. If Carolina wins, or Carolina puts up a massive fight and maybe loses on a field goal or something like that, then your confidence as a football team going forward is really good. That helps the recruits. The recruits that Carolina's building some recruits, that is for sure. The 2026 draft class is draft class. I'm talking like Michael Lombardi and Bill Belichick now. The 2026 recruiting class is really good. Really good so far. I think 17th in the nation right now, after just flipping the Ohio State kid. Carolina could be putting themselves in a really good position by beating Clemson this year. Will they do it? We don't know. Will I be going crazy the entire game? Absolutely. And I think you'll put the country on notice by beating Clemson. You get beaten by Clemson badly, or get destroyed or anything like that, then you're just kind of an afterthought. Okay, we'll see what North Carolina can do. If Carolina then wins all the games outside of Clemson, okay, then we'll think about them. But they're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. But for us, beating Clemson is going to be the thing that would define and set apart our season. And Carolina can get it done, I'll be really, really excited, and I will lose my mind, to say the least. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Which team do you think this year that Carolina will face will be the most defining game for North Carolina? Is it Clemson? Do you agree with me, or do you think it's another team? Tell me which game and why as well. I'd love to hear what you guys think down in the comments. Like I said, for me, there was 3 games: Clemson, NC State, and TCU to open up the season. I saw UCF. That one could be a very good one as well. On the road, big time test against a proven team each and every year. UCF is always that one of those teams that just they just find a way to be good every single season. They do a good job. Very rarely do they have very bad seasons. That could be a good one. There are a couple of different games that you could pick. Syracuse, maybe. Who knows? Depending on what Syracuse ends up doing. I'll be curious to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. And as always, go Heels.